Hello everyone and welcome back to our Space Engineers Joint Survival series. I'm joined by Scott and we've just managed to successfully get our solar panels
Well,
to... Oh, what?
I'm leaning towards it's not working because it's now facing away from the sun.
Yes, but didn't you just reset it?
It was working.
It was working a second ago and it looks like it's trying to align it with something. Actually, there's no alignment going on at all. The power's completely off grid.
Give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Like, restart that goddamn thing. That normally fixes 99% of
it was
software
on.
issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you? Because I thought you stopped it. Did you stop it?
Now.
How's it working?
I have no idea.
Okay, because it's just rotating up now. I don't know if it's in tune with that second rotor. We've got some basic light. We've got 2 bars.
Okay, it's probably because okay. I'm going to have to drop the timer on.
Hold on. How have we got 2 bars? The sun's behind the planet.
I don't know. You've got the time. You've got the sun rotation set to the most weirdest time frame.
Okay, it's gone down to 1 bar now. So with this current solution, I think it is tracking the sun. I think the sun's just gone below the planet.
Yeah, I think that's me now sorted it. It
Okay.
wasn't the timer block had stopped working, so I think it's now just going. I don't see the sun. Help me.
Right, so the sun will come back up, and when it does come back up, that'll be the supreme time to probably check it, make sure everything's functional. But apart from that, we have one of, I believe, I need to build 3 of these particular farms to make solar power a useful source, and I need a total of 16 solar panels. Someone was telling me in the comments of the last video, and I was debating, I don't know what you think, Scott, either just add 16 panels to this one array, or build 2 others. But the thing is, the problem is, if I build 2 others, that means we've got 2 other sets of rotors, you know, to go wrong. Where with this one, we have 1 set of rotors to go wrong, so there's less.
I don't know. I would say I'm leaning toward build 3.
Well, I was going to build 3, but I don't know what you think about this. Instead of building on this platform, just space them out around this area, and then connect them under the ground.
One at all 3 sides of the crater.
One at all 3 sides of the crater. What, it's like a little bit of a... yeah, but that's going to take ages to wire it up underneath the ground.
Okay, and I would just go build 1 left of this and 1 right of this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to attempt to do anyway. Alright, well, I'll let you get back to the building down there, and I'll start building 2 more of these solar arrays if possible.
I need to go quickly check if my actual ship can fly.
What are you working on, by the way, today? If I grab
my
my spectator camera and come into the
welder
crater. So, if I dip down into the crater, you can see the beautiful spotlight illuminating Scott's working area. And then we've got the little welding ship.
The welder ship, I'm just not sure yet if it'll fly.
So you think you're going to unhook it and it'll just drop to its death?
Well, 2 large thrusters and it should be enough.
Should be, but we do have a bit of gravity in effect on this planet as well, don't
I know,
we?
so that's why I'm thinking...
I think it'll be fine because the other ship we've got, wherever that is, it's on the roof, that is probably just a bit lighter, and that's just flying off 2 large thrusters, and you've got 2 large thrusters and the gravity thing, and we've loaded them cargo containers up really heavily, so I don't think you'll have a problem with this at all, to be honest. The thrust ratio. It's just starting and stopping that you're going to have some problems with, I think.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
But it does look like a very nice ship, but if you skin it, and don't skin it too heavily armoured, because if you had the more armour, you had the more weight, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to hop back up and try to get myself some solar panels added around and moved. So, Scott, you think... Right, we've talked about... I think we've talked about this like 100,000 times before, but if they were going to add another tool in, what do you think they would add? I'm really low on oxygen, need to get back.
Shovel.
Shovel? What would you use the shovel for?
A way of being able to interact with voxels.
Oh, like rebuild voxels around things, you mean?
Yeah, being able to rebuild voxels in game, or I'm kind of like a spray can, paint spray can, because I think the way of just holding your cursor over and spraying is a little bit not immersive.
What? So you're thinking you need to actually manually spray? That'd be so cool though if you could actually like manually spray paint like patterns onto them rather than them going, you know, pixel block by block. Maybe, you know, the blocks are divided into so many pixels. So basically when you spray your spray can, you spray it over that amount. So you can actually do finer details, because I always think the painting at the moment is very, it feels like you're just painting too much. Like when you color a block in, I mean, I think I'll do a demo for everyone before I'm getting these resources to take back up to the solar farm. So say for instance I get myself a large block like that, and we have the top of the dome area like that. When I access my spray can, instead of spraying that whole of that one block, that block is broken down into like 4 or 5 or 6 pixels, so I can basically build shapes and different sorts of textures, different sorts of feelings. Well, not different sorts of feelings, just different colors. And you could do, I think you could do a lot of detail work, because you could take a standard block, couldn't you? And you could turn that standard block by painting it into, you know, air vents, warning stickers, all sorts of different things you could basically stick onto it. That's what you were doing as well.
Do a digital camo.
Right, pop yourself in, disengage that landing gear, and give me a little... I've given you all the components on the car container to weld up your spotlight. So if you want to weld that spotlight for me, once you've just figured out your controls to see how sensitive it actually is. Does it drift or anything, or is it actually stable enough?
Rock solid.
Alright, give it a weld. Give that spotlight a weld then. We'll see how it does. GN2. GN2 now. You've got the components for the rotors as well, so don't get scared. Oh god, a bit of weight has taken effect on them. Oh, spotlights are on.
Do you want to put the braking torque on them so they don't club me?
I can do. Let me just have a quick look.
just call me anything. I don't want my new ship to
Is there a thing on this? So what sort of ship do you think we need then? Do we need a utility? Another mining ship?
We need a mining ship that works. Or is a... no, I'll rephrase that. The one we've got works. We need one that's a bit more efficient.
So that's what we shall build then. And a more efficient mining ship. Press this. Oh, you know what I was reading, right? Oh, well, I was reading through some of the comments the other day about, you know, how we did the discussion about a submarine in space.
Yes.
And how it would or would not work, and there was a little bit of debate going back and forth on if it would work, it wouldn't work, so on, whatever. So some guy basically said, explained there was a book about a submarine in space, and it was the concept of refitting one, and they were talking about how the pressures were rated for in, but they're not rated for out. And I think there was another one. What was it? Oh, what was the main thing? Oh shit. Oh damn it! It was a really good point. Like basically, the theory went that the submarine would not work because the way the pressure would be pushing out, and it would just basically pop open, like, you know, like a can of Coke that's been shaken way too much.
Oh, okay.
And then put under outside pressure of nothing.
So it would explode. It would
explode.
It would explode.
Even though basically a can of Coke is made to withstand that pressure. In such a...
Again, it's just something you never think about. Would
Well, what else could you put in space that would possibly work? You've got to think about it. Like, imagine you've just got to think of a quick object. It's like the desert island sort of theory, but you've got to change. Like, say for instance, we took a bus, right, and we put that in space. It wouldn't work.
Dead in 3 seconds.
Everyone would be dead in 3 seconds, but eyeballs popping out and whatnot. I mean, I know eyeballs don't really pop out, but you get the idea. What other option could we put in there? So let's think of sealed items things like that are sealed.
Refrigerator.
Oh, okay, like
Jones
a bit of an Indiana Jones sort of feel, right? So right, okay. So if the fridge is sealed, I don't know if refrigerators are sealed that much. Could it withstand the pressure? I'm not too sure. I think we've got, because refrigerators are quite strong. If you get quite a strong refrigerator, but still, I don't think they're really meant for pressure. They're more meant for
I don't know. It's
insulation. Like the other thing why the submarine wouldn't work, that was about insulation, because everyone would basically get turn radioactive and freeze to death.
No, I wouldn't think. You freeze to death, yes, definitely freeze to death. Radiation wouldn't be a problem. But the fact that if you look at the space shuttle, or any of our, like the Apollo ships and all that, they were paper thin. The actual things that went into space were not super tough. They were.
So you're saying that radiation's not as big a big deal, or do you reckon? Do you mean if it's a long time exposure sort of?
Long time exposure, yeah, but I think you would find that a lot of the radiation gets stopped with a very small amount of shielding. Radiation is not. It depends what you're talking about. Solar radiation, or are you talking hard nuclear radiation?
I'm sorry, well, it's more solar radiation, isn't it, that you're going to deal with?
You're not going to get instantly killed. It isn't going to bake you like a baked potato.
Oh, that'd be quite funny. I just imagined an astronaut in tinfoil getting cooked, and they had a bit of cheese on it. Now that's a bit sick and twisted.
But it definitely.
Why? What do you mean by misconceptions?
Well, like, what happens if you're exposed to space? Do you freeze? Do you explode?
What, like, you mean just like being put outside?
Yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of. I don't know. I've never covered that. I studied nothing to do with space in university, bar.
You studied science, didn't you?
I did sciences, but I was focused on.
Well, it's still a step further for me. I only studied art and stuff, so.
But.
I guess you just kind of got to be. I think it's one of them things. It's one of them places that's so unexplored, or the possibilities are so unexplored that it needs to be tested. But have you noticed though? Well, it's pretty obvious actually that the money has gone from space travel. Like the money where governments used to focus so much on trying to build and develop technology, like the stuff that they're using now, like it's still like 19 sort of 80s 90s tech. I mean, with a few modern updates. I mean, the science behind of it is just gone.
It wasn't. Everything became money based. It was exploration and beating the Russians was the big pushing factor, and now there's not the push anymore. There's no.
Well, I just don't think people are interested in it as well, because I think the media portrayed it as like the frontier, don't they?
Yeah. Once I think they find a resource that's mineable.
Oh, I think as soon as they have a problem, like resources or something start running out, oh, they'll be straight on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it was me, right, to future-proof themselves, they need to know what's out there. Because if you think about it, there's all them unexplored locations that don't have resources, materials, that could basically withstand us indefinitely. But we're so focused on this little planet. Like, I mean, I think one of the biggest theories is like we'll run out of oil and such thing in so many years. Well, there's probably resources out there if we invested the money in that instead of trying to fight, for what resources are out there. If we invested it in like a bit of space travel, we'd probably find the resources out there to need. Isn't it like loads of helium-3 on the moon or something? Oh, sorry, helium. Or is that just a movie sort of thing?
I'm not really sure if that's a movie thing or not. I know there's resources out there. Yeah, I do agree, but what eventually.
But the thing is, they'll leave it to the last minute, like humans do. It's human nature to leave the big problem till. Have I got any resources for that? No, I don't. Okay, so we just have to keep doing this bit. No, it's human nature to just leave things to the last minute, all the time, and then panic, and what ends up happening in that panic? They fight each other for what little resources we have left, rather than working together so everyone could have the said resources. I sound like a bloody communist, don't I?
No.
I mean, it's the thing. Like in my mind, you need to work together while the times are good, so you can have have limited problems when the times are actually bad. Because it will happen. Resources are going to run out. I mean, there's so many people on this one little planet. We struggle for food as it is, where technically we should have enough food to go around if it was done correctly.
Well, the problem is with food, it isn't about doing it correctly. It's high populations in areas we can't support for the food, and even if we could, like produce the food in the UK, you
cut out.
You couldn't get it to the areas that need the food.
Well, did you hear about that thing about Europe where the European Union paid our farmers not to produce as much food, so that the European farmers had a chance to compete with our farming levels? So there was fields that could be farmed just going completely unfarmed.
It was, I don't know what was true and what was more just hysteria in that one.
Have you ever had the thought of like how you'd survive a zombie apocalypse, like if it happened to you right now? Like, I mean, this is I love going into debates like this. Like, so
zombie apocalypse.
So you're right there now. You look out your window and you've just seen someone get bitten. What's the first thing you think?
Well, okay. I would be wanting to head to somewhere, Right.
Okay. Forget where you want to head. It's happened outside. It's the first thing you want to do. What's the first thing you're gonna do? What is your default mind plan?
weaponry.
Weaponry. So what would you go to your kitchen? Would you get a knife? Would you tell me, Scott? What would you do? What would you grab?
I would go Shaun of the Dead and get something like a baseball
Cricket bat, or I thought you were going to say records or something. And I was like,
yeah, go for the records. Then I'd want to get location. Now I would either head out to the countryside and I've got.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's what loads of people say. But do you have any skills that could let you actually survive out in the countryside?
Yeah.
I mean, so you can hunt.
But I have done a lot of hill walking, a lot of camping.
Yeah, okay, hill walking, camping, yeah, but can you hunt? Can you get your own food from the countryside?
Yeah, I've killed. I went deer hunting once.
Yeah, okay, what? Right, okay, so you've basically put yourself now. Now, the thing is, you hear this story so many times where people, they have a plan like that. Oh, yeah, I'll get out into the country. But there's a lot of things like that. Loads of people have the same idea. And the second thing is, loads of people can't survive in the country. And I don't no offense to you, Scott, but if you've been hunting once and camping, I don't think you could survive for a long period of time out in the country.
And if I was by myself, no family involved, I would be making sure I have my motorbike. The 125.
Oh, I hate this debate in motorbikes in zombie apocalypse. Yeah, okay, all the roads are blocked, but you can get pulled off by a zombie. You can get things can jump at you. Things can hit you. And remember, it's a zombie apocalypse. There'll be wires and things falling down from roads.
It isn't just that.
Oh, what have I missed?
It's simplistic to run.
Is it a two-stroke?
Yeah, well, no, it's
I need one more large tube.
Normal engine, just a four-stroke, but it's very simple to run. I've had my bike for a couple of years now, and I've never had to do much to it. It's a tank.
But you are aware petrol goes off.
Yeah, but you're talking in the first couple of months.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I am talking.
Years, fair enough.
So you're out in the country now. What's your plan?
My plan is to get over to Islay, one of the Scottish islands.
Oh, okay. So now you're in a more remote place that requires more skills, and it's gonna be cold there as well, isn't it?
Well, it's the same longitude as Glasgow. It's not any more different than where I live. But what it does have is no way for them to get to you because you're on an island. Islay is it's got tons of.
So you've basically gone for an island. Forget it's island. Just say it's an island.
I know, but I'm using it as an example because it's got tons of wildlife. You're talking everything from fishing to deer to rabbits. It's tons of access to things you need.
Metal grids, interior displays. Okay, so you've got the wildlife. You've got the food.
So food's sorted.
Water. There's lots of springs.
In Scotland,
You're drowning in it.
We have enough water. Water is never a problem in my country.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like you got a bit of a plan, but I would like to. I would test that if I could. I'd come and visit you and say, right, Scott, let's test your zombie apocalypse plan.
Zombie invasion. No.
You know what's so funny, right? Is when people have the idea that they just go to the shop and get loads of supplies before they go.
Oh, and that's gonna work well. I have a feeling a billion other people in this country have the same thing.
Right, metal grids, interior cover. Because I imagine you've got to go with what's in your cupboard now. And is your cupboard stocked up with stuff, or is it like mine? It just has a few random tins of peas and whatnot.
Living off of pot noodles for a couple of weeks.
Well, yeah. So it's the situation where.
My question: what weapon would you take if you had an arsenal in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
From British police firearms. Say you raided a police station
Oh, we can allow guns. Okay, can we do without guns and then with guns?
Well, I'm gonna give you the option with guns right now, and standard hunting store in Scotland. So you're talking Scotland legal weapons. So what? Hunting rifle and double barrel shotguns.
Well, what
would you take?
Well, the thing is with guns, they draw a lot of attention. But they can also be used to get you out, of a sticky situation where there's more than, one combatant. And saying that, I don't know how competent I would be at beating people down with sticks and stuff. I don't know, if I could physically beat them down, hard enough to kill them. So I would like a gun, but then they're saying what's available to us is not much that's suppressed. And if you want a hunting rifle, you're going to wake up half the bloody population of zombies, aren't you? So
my brain and my logic is.
I'm just putting random things in my inventory. I need computers.
If it is a hunting store, the one I know nearby me has crossbows.
Yeah. Crossbows are more harder to use than people think, though.
But you would learn fast. You'd have to learn fast.
Yes, you would, or you'd be dead. You'd be zombie food.
Yeah, you'd be zombie food. It's silent, reusable ammo.
Mostly.
Aye, hopefully as long as it doesn't screw up and you don't like.
Well, remember, if you shoot a zombie, sometimes you're shooting them to get away from them, and there might be one or two of them. You might not want to retrieve your arrow every time. We need.
Yeah,
What
but
did
it's
I forget to get?
better than a rifle that has a
Computer.
shot off of 100 rounds.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing with the
that's
gun
gonna
is,
last
especially
you
in
that
the
long.
UK, where there's not many actual components, you're gonna run out very fast.
So a gun, I wouldn't think is a great choice.
Oh, it
I
was
think that's
just
more
computers
of
I need, isn't it then?
a risk in the long run.
Well, what are you saying? This is the only thing you can take?
No. I would also say something stupid like taking an air rifle for hunting small animals. It's very silent. Have you used an air rifle?
Yes, I have.
You know they're extremely silent.
Yes, they got they got right. Have we got? Oh, shit.
And it would take out, say, a pheasant,
We're out of
rabbits.
computers. Yeah, it would take out that, but the thing is, you wanted a weapon, don't you? And the skulls are a very hard thing.
It's not going to be the only. You wouldn't be able to use. There's 114.
Oh, this armor that you're putting around this thing looks lovely, doesn't it?
Bit different. There's 114 inside my ship.
Very beautiful. What, the weight?
Computers.
Oh, I'll get some computers out of yours.
No, fair enough. An air rifle shooting a zombie just like, fucking piss it off. But I'm thinking that's a way of surviving.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's just a tool in your survival sort of things. Like there's some of them airsoft guns you can get. You can load them with steel pellets, and you can put the pressure up in them so high that you could actually do in an animal if you needed to hunt with it. Yeah, but I mean, I think it'd be more efficient to hunt with snares and traps rather than hunt with such and such thing like that. Is the computers in that yet?